will be a challenge. Wish I had one more hand. I'm just going to start really casually first. How are we all feeling today? Are we good? Are we happy? Happy? Great. And then who, because I actually don't know many of you. So are you like all working, or who's come from uni or from class? Not the uni was per se. Beautiful. And who's working full time? That's a lot of you guys. And who works in tech? That's quite a lot of you. And who works in healthcare? Wonderful. Any in both, healthcare and tech? I love you guys. Beautiful, thank you. Can this reach? I really don't know. Didn't think of that. Cool, thank you. That's why you're here. Wonderful. So I'm so sorry, I'm really uncoordinated today. Thank you guys all for coming here today. So my name is Jackie, and one thing you should probably all know about me is that I'm really uncoordinated and I'm really indecisive. So when it came for me to choose what to study in university, as Masoud initially said, I'm actually studying health and a Bachelor's of Health Science at AUT. So this is what it looks like during the day. Not as intense, but this is what I do. We do dissections in class. That's something I'm really excited about, but not as intense. We also study the theory part of healthcare. Okay. So by day, I do this. By night, we do this. This is a group of Microsoft student accelerators that we sort of train up as, I guess, little Microsofties as well. So I work with the team. So we are the guys, I can say guys because they're all guys, at the front. And we train a room of people, more guys as well. But we are encouraging more females to join the whole technology space, and encourage all of you to encourage more females to join the technology space too. And up there, it's a little hackathon that is what we do. So we run hackathons, we run events, and things like that. I guess one thing I'm really passionate about is to teach. I really love sharing my knowledge. I really love working with people. And I guess this sort of led me on to working and presenting at hackathons. So I realized one thing that I really did like is working with people, understanding people's problems and how I could utilize my skills and backgrounds to solve them. So these are a couple of hackathons that we have presented at. And then I guess how today or tonight will sort of work is that I'm going to run through and give you guys several examples of projects that I've sort of worked on. Predominantly, normally they come out through the forms of a hackathon. So we know what a hackathon is, yes? It's like a little coding competition that you attend and you work with like a bunch of different people within 48 hours generally. I actually just did one this morning, so I'm a bit tired. Awesome. So I put this picture up here. Do we know what building this is? Beautiful. The Flatiron Building in New York. This photo was taken roughly the 1900s. This photo here. This is the same building, but I guess in most recent days. The reason why I put this up here is to show you guys that you might not notice, not a lot has changed, but technology is at its finest only when it's completely integrated within our lives. So when it's seamless, that is when technology is at its best. Technology in this picture, you can see, say, traffic lights. You can see cars. Those are simple examples of technology in our society that we don't actually notice as much because they've seamlessly integrated themselves into our lives. Does anyone know what this is? No? Healthies in the room? This is the social determinants of health. It's a model that's created by I think it's the World Health Organization, and they use this to target a lot of the health determinants and health issues around the world. The reason why I put this up is to show you guys that if you see in the yellow bit there, social and community networks. So a little background about this model is that these are all factors that affects an individual in terms of how their health outcomes might be perceived. So whether you've got age, sex, and constitutional factors, so like say your gender and things like that, then you've got your individual and lifestyle factors. So that could be things like what behaviors do you have? Are they good habits, bad habits? What do you normally do? And then you've got the social and community networks. That's where generally all of you come in. If you're to implement a piece of technology, you have to make sure that they will actually use that piece of technology. It's not, a technology itself is useless unless the community is on board of it, of the social lives, and it's completely integrated and they love it. That's when you'll make an impact to their lives and actually make a change. And then you've also got the living conditions, also like sanitary needs, housing, education, and work. And you've got the general outcomes around the outside. The reason why I brought this up is that the yellow bit, that's where we come in, the networks, community networks, and encouraging them to use our services. So, today my talk's more so on the co-design process as well. You've understand what affects an individual. Now we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the factors that we should look inside when we're talking about co-design. So I guess co-design is a process of where yourself as a technologist works alongside the community. So this is from, say, a ground up design. So you get the community to tell you what they want and how you can solve their problems for them. So you might look at aspects and factors such as these. What is that community's motivations? What are their priorities, their activities, their attitudes towards certain things? What are their dreams, their fears, and what really makes them unique and different? So you want to understand the individual as themselves, and you can understand them as a community and as a group as well. So it's only when you identify the needs and opportunities within within your community and people that you'll be able to sort of develop a really useful piece of technology. Cool. This is a model. It's the principle of co-design model that I actually, I guess, borrowed from this website down here. It's the New South Wales Council of Social Service. This is where I sort of borrowed it off from. Why I really like this is that because it talks about the 5 key factors when it comes to co-design, the co-design process. So co-design is a process. It's not really just a single outcome. It's how you get to that outcome and make sure that you do make a difference. So the first one sort of talks about, say, inclusion. So inclusion is just to make sure that the community and all your key stakeholders who will be potentially using your piece of technology will be involved. So it's making sure that you ask the right questions. So that could be a matter of, say, whether it's one-on-one interviews, maybe you run like a group study or focus group, and really get them to be in a safe space so that they're happy to share their opinions and thoughts. And then you need to be respectful as well. That's another key aspect of it. So you're respectful of their thoughts, whether it's just themselves as an individual, and you really want to create that safe environment for everyone to sort of discuss. And then it's iterative, it's participative, nope, not working. You ensure that everyone feels included in the whole conversation. You don't want to leave someone out. Maybe they're quiet, but you really should encourage them to say it, because maybe they find that there is an issue, but they don't want to raise it now, because I'll bring it up later in the mom test. Bring it up later into mom test, why it's important to get even the most quietest people in the room to talk. And then it's really outcomes focused. The reason why it's outcomes focused is because you're in the position of creating, of designing, and evaluating services that you are providing. And these can be sort of done in the way of, say, MVPs, a minimum viable product, sort of test if your potential solution is viable and whether they actually like it. And because it's an iterative process, you might go back to step 2. Your step 5 is jumping back at step 2 of revisiting the focus of your piece of technology and why it's there. So you just really want to make sure that you're not just designing a piece of technology, you're actually making something that will have an impact and what people actually want. So this sort of brings me in to the first example here. This is the RMO handbook, the Resident Medical Officer's Handbook. The reason why I put this up here is because during my first year of university, I was actually working at the Auckland District Health Board as a business analyst there. And this is one of the projects that I was actually working on. Before this app existed, every nurse, clinician in the hospital would carry around a 500-page textbook. Essentially a textbook that they keep in their back pocket. So when they ever need to refer to something, they take it out 500 pages, whip it through, try to read all the contents and try to get like, oh, is this what I need? Okay, cool. There's no search feature in this textbook. And there's no way of updating it either. So that means that every 2 years, the Ministry of Health will have to use funding and to get these books reprinted again. So this is where my team comes in. We came in, we worked as a group, talked to our stakeholders. So this will be both the clinicians, the nurses, as well as the managers of the hospital as well, to make sure that they were happy with the way that they could now update their information. So this is where we made the app. It was really useful. They loved it. And this was the MVP that we built, and now it's actually in the stage of, they're actually making the app, producing it, and they're going to start giving around to all the RMOs in the hospital, so the resident medical officers. It was pretty good that it caught the attention of the Health Informatics Network of New Zealand. So we did a little pitch about this. They were really impressed with it. Likewise, the hospital were happy with it because it was an MVP, so we needed to get more background support to try to bring it over the line as well. Next one I'm going to ask you is, who here knows what the magic mirror is? Magic mirror, yes.
What is it?
Yeah, what is a magic mirror?
Just looking through it and ask who's the fairest.
Who's the fairest of them all? And beautiful. One more guess? No? Okay, cool. So you must be thinking, magic mirror on the wall. This is not the magic mirror I'm talking about. I'm talking about this. This is a magic mirror where you use a Raspberry Pi. It's a two-way mirror. And what it sort of does is that it gives you information on the side, whether the weather, what to expect, maybe your agenda. So this is actually a project that we built at a hackathon called DataComp, which is at the DataComp building there. It's a yearly hackathon. They have people fly in for this as well from their other DataComp branches around the world. And then we built a magic mirror. Why? Because we were targeting mental health at this competition. Mental health because, as I mentioned before, integrating yourselves into our daily lives, a mirror is something that everyone stands in front of, whether it's when you're brushing your teeth or whether you're fixing your tie or getting dressed. It brings the family together because you can see everyone's agendas. And how we targeted mental health is that because we wanted to be able to connect, bring the parents and the children closer to each other. So in this sense, the mirror might be able to see, okay, the child is maybe not too happy today, maybe what's up, we don't know. So the mirror will then alert the parents and say, hey, maybe there's something up with little Timmy. Do you want to try treat him an ice cream and see what's going on after school today? So it gives little prompts like these to sort of make our lives better, that because it's a mirror, can be integrated into all our lives really easily and seamlessly. Our team, Foot Fetish, came second runner-up for this competition, so that was really cool. And definitely worth an experience. We called ourselves Foot Fetish. Background story to that. Ask me later if you're interested. Another project that I'll show you is road accidents. Road incidences, road accidents is, I think it was the second most avoidable, had the second most avoidable death rate in New Zealand. The reason why we targeted this was because it was avoidable, we needed something that would sort of train people how to drive. So the reason why we did this is because as of a couple of maybe months ago, I was still on my learners. So yes, I was still on my learners. I didn't quite know how to drive. And so we made an app. My team and I made an app. We made an app where we use your accelerometer to sort of see, did I go too quickly around that corner? Am I going too fast? Or it sort of gives you prompts and lets your parents sort of see what is your driving history, and sort of teaches you and sort of prompts you, hey, slow down at this corner, you keep going really fast at this corner or something like that. Tell you to slow down at traffic lights, and this is a little background story of what we did here. Don't quite have an image of this yet because it looks pretty ugly, but I'll bring it up for the next time around. And I guess the reason why we also built this as well, we were also targeting road accidents in the sense of when you've got a heavy-duty truck driver, they might fall asleep during long-haul drives. So this sort of watches your eyes as well to make sure that you're staying awake. And if you're not, sort of prompts you to maybe relax a little bit, to drive to the side of the road and maybe go to sleep before driving again. Very fortunately, second place at the Magic Cup competition. If you guys are really interested, it's only if you're studying solo. You don't need to be studying you can be studying anything at all, whether it's health, IT, singing, dancing. Just hit me up. We can do the Microsoft Magic Cup competition, which is actually a global competition, the world's largest technological competition, and it's a great experience. Highly recommend. This is the book, one of my most favorite books. It's called The Mom Test. My favorite quote there says, "It boils down to this. You aren't allowed to tell them what their problem is, and in return, they aren't allowed to tell you what to build. They own the problem, and you own the solution." The reason why I found this really important is because it really shows that you bring in your expertise, but they will understand what their problems are. So it's sort of your job to sort of interact and prompt them as well to make sure that you're building the connection, a safe environment, a safe connection, to make sure that you really build a technological solution that is beneficial to them. You're not just going to build something, put it in the App Store, and then they don't use it. So if you were to build something, you ask your mom, what do you think of this? I made this app. What do you think of it? Her first response, I'll bet she'll say, "Oh, that is great, that is awesome, nice job, well done." She'll be really positive. That's why the mom test comes in. How can you sort of overcome the mom test? Where you talk to your employers or like potential sponsors, they only give you a bunch of positive feedback. But what you're trying to find is, what is the truth? What is the underlying truth behind their opinions of the app that you've developed? So I guess likewise, when it comes to developing something for your community, they might be new to you. So if you don't create that safe environment, they might just feel like they have to say, "Yes, this is a great app. That is great." But really inside, they know that maybe in a week's time, they probably won't use it. So by utilizing the skills in the mom test, this really makes sure that you sort of engage and ask the right questions with your potential stakeholders as well. Slight little pitch in is that I also look after a non-for-profit. So I founded this roughly 2-3 years ago. It's called BizTech Labs. Highly encourage if you guys are have younger children, nieces, nephews, they can come along. So what we sort of do is encourage children to pursue STEAM careers, so science, technology, engineering, math, arts and design and all that. We teach them entrepreneurial skills, how to say develop an app or design a website, things like that, and how to solve current social day issues as well. We are also looking for sponsors. These are a couple of our sponsors from last year. Love for you guys to all get involved, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much.